I am beating every N64 game, and I mean all of them. The twist is, the next game I play is randomly selected, so I have no clue what's coming next. This is the journey to beating every N64 game. Game number 158, ECW Hardcore Revolution. Released in 2000, this game was developed and published by Acclaim. I didn't realize at the time that this was a wrestling game. I was familiar with WWF and WCW, but I never heard of ECW, Extreme Championship Wrestling. Apparently the extreme aspect from the name meant the matches were quite intense with lots of weapons and blood. This led to the game having a mature rating. I was never really into wrestling growing up, but I was at least a bit familiar with the popular wrestlers in WWF. I feel like I won't know a single thing about this league though. It had to have been decently popular though to get a video game made about it. Let's get into it. I noticed in the main menu that there was an option to create your own wrestler. This was my opportunity to create the legendary wrestler from the WWF games, Player 1. The creation tool looked basically identical to that from WWF Attitude. It's the same dev, so it does make sense. Basically, Acclaim lost the WWF license after that game, so it seems like this was their follow-up to it. You can adjust their moveset and intro as well. I definitely nailed the look. So the main single player mode in this game is the career, so that's what we'll be doing to beat this game. Man, the interface for the career mode even looks the same as Attitude. My first match was against Arms Master, who I think is just a generic person. Before a match it shows both wrestlers' intro sequences. Player 1 could not possibly look any cooler coming into the ring. This guy is just peak male form. Arms Master comes out with a bat and wearing body armor. Then into the actual match, and yep, this UI looks just like WWF Attitude. It seems they just slapped the new wrestlers on the old game. From what I remember about that one, there's all these fighting game style combos where you have to use the D-pad along with A, B, and C left to perform moves. It can be tough to do, but once you've memorized them, it's not too bad. Man, I was just getting absolutely wrecked. Arms Master had me on the turnbuckle and was just wailing on my face. Poor guy, get him out of there. And I have no idea what this jank was. Dude, this game just doesn't function properly. We just both went through each other? After that move, his name started flashing, which meant he had the crowd on his side. When that happens, you basically get a buff to your stats and you're more likely to land moves and reversals. My health quickly reached the red and that was it. Player 1 was pinned on a 3 count. My next match was going a bit better. Like, I was at least landing some attacks, although it felt a bit inconsistent. After 5 minutes of brutal back and forth, I got Arms Master in the surfboard, a brutal submission move. How is he sliding around like that anyway? After the 10 count was reached, I'd won my first match. Next was a tag team match. I was up against a generic wrestler Buffon along with the legend Big Sal. These tag team matches were always frustrating. You can tag your teammate in to swap positions, which is fine. It gets annoying though when you go for a pin and the teammate is allowed to break it up. This usually makes it quite hard to end the match properly. Dude, I was getting annihilated in this match. I just couldn't move and I couldn't tag my teammate in. It wasn't any better when I did tag them in and my teammate Berzes was pinned. After losing to Arms Master a second time, I had enough. Obviously, I couldn't be bad at the game. It was my created wrestler that was the problem. I needed to pick someone already in the game. Okay, seriously though, I felt like I screwed up making my custom moveset, so that's why I decided to switch. Who to be? Who to be? Well, we saw Big Sal earlier, and that's the coolest name I'd ever heard. My first match this time was a tag team against Mac Daddy and Trainer. Okay, yeah, I had way more moves now, and it was going so well. I love hitting them with this wind-up haymaker when they're dazed. It felt like I was playing a completely different game now. I could do this crazy slam with a wild animation. My god. Also, anyone who is able to slam Big Sal is just nuts. His wrestling profile lists him as 6'9", 600 pounds. That is just absurd. This is what I mean about the tag team matches being frustrating. They both have no health left, so I had Francine go for the pin. However, it just allows the teammate to jump in and break it up. Finally though, I did get the pin because Big Sal held Trainer down. 1 match down. My next match was against Mad Goat. You might be wondering how we beat this game. Well, it's the same as WWF Attitude. I've got to win matches to rank up and reach the pay-per-view event for that league and then win it. If I can win the ECW Heavyweight Championship, I beat the game. But for now, I gotta beat up these low ranks. The wrestlers in this can still do cheap shots. It's like they didn't change the game engine whatsoever. These are annoying because there's really no counterplay to it. Big Sal had all kinds of cool moves, like spreading their legs apart and elbowing their nuts. I am sure that's a legal move. I got the pin on Mad Goat after just 3 minutes. A bit better pace this time. Then I was against Nurse. I'm assuming this is one of those generic wrestlers again. Why does it look like she's wearing a diaper? I'll take this time to talk about the graphics and audio. The graphics weren't the greatest, although the animations are pretty good. During a match, it's mostly silent other than the sounds of the wrestlers hitting the mat. The crowd doesn't cheer nearly as loud as the WWF games, although maybe it's intentional because the crowd size is smaller? Joey Styles is the only person on commentary and he has very few lines. They repeat a lot. The one I remember most is him yelling, "Oh my God!" The announcers are trash and this game's just so much worse. Anyway, after taking down Nurse, I beat up Santoro and got another pin. You start ranked in 20th and have to work your way to 1st. Generally, winning a match brings you up 1 rank, so I was at 16th so far. Yeah, nothing to see here, just Sound Guy doing an overhead press with the 600-pound Big Sal. Apparently Sal was on some wrestling team called Full Blooded Italians. So I dominated a bunch of generic wrestlers and continued working my way up the rankings. In one of my matches, it just wasn't letting me go for a pin. I thought the game was glitched, but then I remembered some of these matches have modifiers. This was an I give up match. It says this is supposed to end in a submission move, but none of mine were working. I ended up just running the timer out and I won by decision. After a few more wins, I was up against H/. The modifier here was to win via finishing moves only. You have to get them in red health first to be able to do it. Big Sal's is called Bada Bing Bada Boom. Bada Bing? Big Sal, no! I don't know what this is, but hopefully he never screwed this one up and actually landed on them. Hey look, I'm finally against a real wrestler here, Angel. This is a lumberjack match. It's a normal 1v1 except there are 2 goons outside of the ring to harass us. They're not really on anyone's team, so they in theory should go after both people equally. And yeah, it looks like both of us were getting yoinked out. I find this one incredibly frustrating. It basically limits the playing area because they will definitely grab you if you go anywhere close to that rope. I'll admit, it was kind of satisfying to watch Angel get wrecked while I just stood there though. I got a bit bored, so I had Big Sal leap from the top ropes. Yeah, that guy probably died. Another victim of the Bada Bing Bada Boom, as this was a finisher match too. My first televised match was up now. This was a heat wave where it just randomizes from the special rule sets. This one was a free-for-all where you lose if you leave the ring. And yeah, I got launched out almost immediately. Good thing you can retry these. Sometimes the crowd would throw weapons in for us to use. Like this guy just got blasted by a guitar case. God, this game is so jank. One of the CPUs just stood there for literally over 30 seconds. Like they just didn't know what to do because there was an odd number of people in the ring. Finally, after dealing with all the jank, I threw them all out and won. Good riddance. Then there was a tornado match, which is a 2v2 except with no tag team rules. So great, 4 people in the ring and chaos. Targeting wrestlers is awful when there's more than one person. If you're fighting one person, it works fine because you're locked on to them the entire time. But if you aren't perfectly aligned with the person, you just can't do anything. No punching, grabbing, kicking, nothing. None of it works. It would be fine because you can simply lock on to someone. The issue is if they're locked onto someone else, they're not going to face you and you just can't hit them. I hate it. Nothing a little bada bing bada boom can't fix though. I beat up some sort of known wrestlers like Wild Bill and Tommy Rich. Then I rolled horrible RNG getting a 2-on-1 match. If the free-for-alls weren't rough enough, this is just the worst. I don't understand how you're supposed to win this. Like if you ever land a move on someone, the other guy will immediately just blast you. This match in particular had the 10 count on ring outs. I just ran around outside, then slammed one of them at the last second to get rid of them. Unfortunately, by this point, I was already at red health, so I lost. Oh well, I usually just decided to not bother trying on these because it's so unlikely to win. Up to rank 5 now, I was in a barbed wire match against Francine. This was something that ECW did where they replaced the ropes with barbed wire. Definitely fits that hardcore theme. If you throw them at the wire, they just take a bunch of damage, although you'd expect there to be a bit more blood. This one was a gauntlet match, so I had to beat 3 wrestlers back to back to back. I'll take that over multiple at once any day. I took all 3 of those people out, not too bad at all. CW, Francine, Mac Daddy showed up in the matches. It was nice to be fighting real people instead of the generic ones. You know, for the 3 total ECW fans watching this, you might recognize these names. Once I'd won a few more times, I'd finally reached rank 1. Well, that's what should have happened. Just like WWF Attitude, this game has a mechanic called grudge matches. Basically, if you beat someone to take their rank, they can just call a grudge match, like a do-over. It's so silly. They're just salty they lost, and it just lets them do that. While I was teaching Francine a lesson on being a good loser, Jack Victory came running from backstage. Now it was a 2v1, which definitely seems fair. Thankfully, he leaves after about a minute. I guess that's like when the wrestler's friend comes in from backstage and shocks the crowd or whatever. There were seriously like 5 grudge matches in a row, what the heck? This one was a cage match. You either win by finisher or escape the cage. Big Sal's finisher requires them to be against the turnbuckle, which doesn't exist, so that's cool. I had to try to climb out, but with 3 opponents, it felt so hard. Yeah, getting out wasn't happening, so I just let the time run out to win by decision. Finally though, Big Sal made it to the pay-per-view title match. It was against Jack Victory. Didn't we already beat him a few times? Oh well, I can do it again. It shows Big Sal holding up the title belt, and it said I won the Acclaim title. I also unlocked a cheat code to be able to play as Joey Styles or Joel Gertner, which is cool I guess. Now you might be thinking, oh cool, he beat the game. Oh no, not even close. There are actually 3 leagues in the career, and this was only the first. I don't even move on to the next league yet. I have to defend my belt 5 times in a row. If you lose a single match, you get demoted. So after winning against those 5 wash-ups, I had officially been promoted to the TV league. This time I started at rank 15, so it's a bit less matches to reach the title. In this new league were a big group of new wrestlers. My first match were all new people. The Sheik, Jason, and Axel Rotten. Axel Rotten definitely looks like he could star in Joe Dirt. Then there was a match against Chris Chetty. I'm assuming these are people who were on TV back in the day. I don't know who they are. They have an online profile on the wrestling wiki, so yeah. Oh look, another 2v1 match. I sure love these. I was against Balls Mahoney and Little Guido. This time there was no ring out timer, so the cheese was impossible. Here's Spike Dudley getting chokeslammed by the legend Big Sal. Why does he want to wrestle in overalls? Then there was a special match called Guilty as Charged. This is 2 teams of 4 going against each other. It's a standard 2v2 tag team format, but then the 3rd person comes in if someone gets pinned. We were against Roadkill and Jazz to start. I gotta say, love Roadkill's outfit. Dude looked good in the ring. Wow, as if 2v1 wasn't unfair enough, now I've got to do a 3v1 against Nova, Rhino, and Balls. Of course, it's a cage match too. Yeah, this is literally impossible to win. I'm convinced it can't be done. Just take the loss here and move down 1 rank. Danny Doring was in a match later on. He's the one in yellow. Honestly, the barbed wire matches were a bit disappointing. It seems to be the one big new thing Acclaim added, but it barely changes the game. It'd be nice if there was more of a reaction to being thrown into it. Here's Jerry Lynn getting kneed in the gut by Big Sal. I imagine these wrestlers are getting more and more well known as I get further in. As for the gameplay itself, it didn't change whatsoever from the start. Here's some guy named New Jack. Not sure if that's his hair or a bandana. After a couple hours of grinding, I'd made it to the TV League Championship match. It was against Steve Corino. He's definitely a tough opponent, but surely no match for Big Sal. I won with these, and Big Sal had another title under his belt. Of course, the game makes you defend your title 5 times like before. Can't be good enough to win, you gotta super win. Anyway, after beating up the Crybabies again, it informed me I was qualified to be in the heavyweight division. I started at rank 10, so once again, less matches required. Now I was in a tag team match with some new people. Lance Storm and Tommy Dreamer were going against me. Surely these guys must have been a bit known, right? In the next match, Justin Incredible was out there rocking the Stone Cold Steve Austin look. We need to bring jorts back, man. They're a fashion icon. And here's Mike Awesome getting launched across the ring. So many world famous people. Somewhere in this ring is Sabu and Louis Piccoli. I guess you at least have new people to look forward to, because the way you play the game has gotten beyond repetitive at this point. Oh shoot, there's Yoshihiro Tajiri in the cool pants. How did he get here? Oh great, another 2v1. And they've got Taz on their team too. No, not the creature from Taz Express. Then finally, after literally 7 grudge matches, I was in the heavyweight championship match. It was up against Super Crazy. He may be crazy, but I'm crazy taxi. Get it? Like that one video game? And that was it. Big Sal was officially the ECW heavyweight champion of the world. Apparently, the most famous wrestler in this game is Rob Van Dam, but for whatever reason, he never appears in the career mode. I tried defending my belt 5 times, but it just continued on after that. There are some cheats to unlock secret wrestlers, but you gain them naturally through beating the career mode. There's Beulah McGillicuddy, which definitely sounds like a real name, Bill Alfonso, Cyrus the Virus, and Judge Jeff Jones. There's also a feature to design your own ring, but I didn't dive into that. I could see that being kind of neat to do as a kid, but yeah, that's about all there is for this one. Game complete. So yeah, there you have it, my journey to beating ECW Hardcore Revolution. You know, wrestling games can be pretty fun if you look at something like WCW vs NWO Revenge or WWF No Mercy. This game just isn't it. It feels like they cloned the engine from WWF Attitude, but it somehow got worse. Like, how did it get even more janky? Attitude is a frustrating game to play, but at least it had character. I'm sure losing the WWF license was rough, but come on. Joey Styles is out here fighting in the trenches just trying to make this entertaining, but they gave him like 6 total lines to work with. The crowd is nearly silent the entire time. Man, I just did not enjoy this one. If you had Attitude back then, there would be no reason to purchase this, unless I guess you were a bigger fan of ECW than WWF. Even the barbed wire mechanic wasn't very interesting. Oh well, not all can be winners. I gave it a 1.5 out of 10 for enjoyability and a 2 out of 10 for difficulty. Alright, thanks for watching, I hope you enjoyed. We had a randomized marble race to determine which game was next, so here's how that played out. Or skip to the timestamp on screen to skip straight to the game selection. There are 233 games on the list. They're all here. Aiden Chronicles, Mahjong at 64, Miss Pac-Man, Bassmasters, Bust-A-Move, Midway Arcade Hits. Let's see what it is. And the marbles are off, and I think we have laps on this. This is just a standard race, so let's see what's going to happen. We got Legend of Zelda Conker's Bad Fur Day, both off to an early lead. I've never seen a race like this. This is crazy, folks. And we got laps. Let's see. Taking the wide turn is Monopoly. Passing Super Bowling Virtual Pro Wrestling as well. GT64 Championship Edition. This is kind of hard to follow. We got Super Bowling in the lead after lap 1. It appears there's 3 laps on this. And let's see. Super Bowling coming in. No, Monopoly and NFL Blitz now in the lead. Mario Kart 64 as well. You would expect a racing game to do well in this race. We got NFL Blitz now, slight lead. It's hard to tell, the lead keeps changing here. NFL Blitz, Mario Kart 64 fighting during the final lap. Mario Kart 64, the current leader. NFL Blitz as well, Monopoly, some Japanese title. Mario Kart 64 has a pretty solid lead, but NFL Blitz is trying to capitalize and make a pass. Mario Kart 64 takes the turn wide, but so does NFL Blitz. There's GoldenEye just behind. It's down to Mario Kart, NFL Blitz. GoldenEye has potential. And, oh, NFL Blitz passing at the end. Mario Kart choking at the very end. And is it going to be NFL Blitz, folks? It's coming down to the wire. We got NFL QB Club as well. And GoldenEye No, NFL QB Club, could it be GoldenEye? I don't know. When does this lap end, folks? NFL QB Club is in the lead. NFL Blitz, GoldenEye, Super Smash Bros. Now making a play. Mortal Kombat. And wait, this is the third lap. No, it's not over, folks. I thought that was the final lap, but no, now we're on the third lap. GoldenEye is now in the lead. NFL QB Club just behind. This keeps changing. What a twist. GoldenEye is in the lead. NFL QB Club not far behind. Super Smash Bros. Madden now. NBA Live, dear God. We got some real stinkers there. NFL QB Club hanging on to that lead for now. Madden, NFL QB Club, GT64, NBA Live, Ken Griffey Jr. Slugfest. A lot of sports titles battling for the lead now. And Ken Griffey Jr. has the lead. I don't know when this lap ends. Nagano Winter Olympics, there are not any good games. There is Extreme G, though, coming through. And it appears GT64 Championship Edition has won the race. Oh my gosh, that was wild. I thought we were going to play GoldenEye for a second. We are playing GT64 Championship Edition. But yeah, if you're still here watching, you're awesome. Thank you so much. If you had a good time, consider hitting that like button, or maybe even dropping a subscription. Or hey, maybe even watch another one of these videos that's on screen now. And yeah, see you next time.